waiting I go do if it no be you. You and I were meant to be, baby. Just like the stars were made to light the skies, and like the pretty birds were made to fly.
OSGOF, APPSN, WIS, NASGIL, and YSN. I would like the representatives of all these bodies to get prepared so that everybody can move to the seats once we call them. Okay, so I will start this afternoon to call the representative of NIS to come and take a seat. The representative of the NIS at this plenary session is the Deputy President, Saviour Chief PC Eze, FNIS, ably represented by the VP International, Saviour Dr. AC Chukwocha, FNIS. A round of applause for the VPI. Please, another round of applause. Okay. The next person I would like to call is the representative of the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation, and that's the person of Surveyor Mrs. Sally Ekagbo, FNIS. A round of applause for Surveyor Mrs. Ekagbo. She will be representing the Surveyor General of the Federation on the panel. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. The next person I will be calling to the seat is the third leg of the surveying profession, and that's none other than Surveyor Olukunle Olugbemiro, FNIS, the Registrar, Surveyors Council of Nigeria, SURCON. Please, a round of applause for him. I want to appeal once again to all of us in the hall to please keep the noise at minimal level. Okay? The next person I will be calling is the National Coordinator, the Women in Surveying, Surveyor Mrs. Elizabeth Oluwadara Olayiwola, FNIS. Up with. Up with. Okay. The next person that I will be calling, although I'm just being informed that is on his way, that's the chairman of APPSN, Savio Thomas Olu Dabiri FNIS. He's on his way here. Thank you, sir. Please help me to give a round of applause to the chairman, APPSN, Savio Thomas Olu Dabiri FNIS. Thank you, sir. Okay. The next person to the panel is Savio Dr. Eze Nathaniel, the Deputy National Coordinator, YSN, who is going to be representing the National Coordinator of YSN. Please give him a round of applause. YSN, give your Deputy National Coordinator a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. The next personality to join the high table is Savio Dr. Yusuf Okmalua. I don't know if he's in. National Chairman, NASJIL.
Is Savio Dr. Yusuf Okmalua in the house? We don't want to announce his absence and then we get to know he's in the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be telling you when the other panelists are with us. On this note, I would like us to kickstart the discussion. Once again, I welcome all discussants to this wonderful second session of the plenary discussion. The task ahead of us is actually building on what we had in the morning. How do we move forward? NIS will be 100 in the next 10 years. We are 90 this year. While we pray to God that we are here to witness the 100th year of NIS, we are also duty bound to plan for that 10 years time. On this note, please kindly permit me to hand the mic to the representative of NIS among the panelists to kickstart the discussion. What, in his view, are the steps we should take towards the future we crave as a professional body?
Thank you very much. I want to greet each and every one of us, senior colleagues, fellows, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as we think about the roadmap to 2034, we must recognize the important contributions of surveyors required at the international level and be able to carve for ourselves a direction in which surveyors become more relevant in the national economy. So it is important that we look at what we should be doing in a world to match and contribute at the international level, and what we should be doing to be relevant so that the Nigerian economy will recognize and accept and reward the contributions of surveyors in developing the national economy. So, having put out before us these two realms of expectation, the international realm and the national realm, we then talk about the sectors, the two realms, then the sectors in which we expect that surveyors should participate. However, before we can talk about the sectors in the national economy, because the economy is very important in our discourse, time is no longer now when we should be thinking surveying just in terms of the intellectual appreciation and what we are doing as professionals, but also how we participate and get rewarded in the national economy. If there is anything we are doing that does not count in the national economy, it can be intellectually sound, but then it may not be as relevant. So, but before we can talk about those sectors in which we expect that we should participate, we should also look at our own in-house. Because in the national economy, we expect competition with diverse professions. But we must be together to be able to say to ourselves, even if I am not in hydro, a surveyor or the surveying system should be built in such a way as to support the surveyor in hydro, support the one in engineering surveying, support the one in navigation, support the one in military, security, and all the rest of them, so that we don't just think about cadastral surveying, which is what we are doing now, and lose out in every other area. So we think about the realms, national and international. We think about the sectors across the country in which we should participate. And remember that I mentioned hydro, I mentioned engineering surveying, does not mean they are exhaustive. Because everything that has to do with land, in fact, everything that has to do with the geospace, is not just land, water, wherever it is, surveyors are involved. But we are the ones to say, this is what we can do, and this is how we can do it better than you. I give you an example. There was a drainage being done in the university where I teach in Owerri. And professors of engineering were given the challenge to do that drain to ameliorate erosion. But, you know, as I came in there, I looked at what they were doing, and I called the professors. I said, you are wrong. And they said, how? We are professors of civil engineering. I said, yes. You design drain paths. I am topographic data expert. I tell you where the drain should be, given the topography, so that that drainage will be able to capture everything in the subcatchment and be able to give it appropriate direction so that it will also empty appropriately. They ignored my words. Go back to Futo today. That drainage is only a relic. Federal government sent some other people who now designed the property, and exactly where I told them it was supposed to be was where they eventually located the drainage and gave it proper direction, and it worked. But over the years, we have accepted that the civil engineers, not just them, there are things we have accepted that the architects, things we have accepted that the town planners, that all these other people, it belongs to them. Whereas actually, we are the ones in whose this thing it is domicile. So without dragging this thing too far, let me just stop at the point of setting up the plate. We are talking about the national and international realms. We are talking about the academics, the intellectuals. We are talking about the sectors in which we should participate. Then we are talking about our internal makeup. OSGOF, SURCON, NIS. Inside NIS, APPSN, WIS, NASGIL, and all the rest, YSN. Let me not forget my constituency, YSN. All these have roles. If we are robust enough, large enough to define things and appropriate them, instead of clustering at one point and then generating fights amongst ourselves. Thank you very much. I'll let somebody else.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for him. You agree with me that the need to diversify towards national development is what the Vice President International has emphasized on, and the need for us to always be made known, to make ourselves, our presence felt in all developmental strides. It's the key role of surveyors, and it's one of the things we could do to have a sustainable professional body, especially as we look forward to the next 10 years. The next question will be to the Registrar of the Surveyors Council of Nigeria. It has been observed that our regulation actually is very strict, or it hampers so much on the cadastral aspect of surveying. I would like to ask it's not brand new, but it's still the Registrar of SURCON, that in his effort towards improving survey practice, especially for the next 10 years, what effort would SURCON do to include the regulation or to enforce regulatory, to make regulatory provision for the other aspect of surveying, so that surveyors can leverage on it for the next 10 years? Mr. Registrar, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Permit me to enjoy the already established protocol. SURCON will be doing a lot, and which we have started already. The job of SURCON is much of regulatory and ensuring the practice is upheld. I'll quickly say that part of that is ensuring that every surveyor is properly captured. When I say captured, everyone has a sense of belonging. In SURCON right now, this week, we launched the SIMS, the Surveyors Information Management System, where every surveyor and the public can have quick access to the secretariat of SURCON. What do I mean by quick access? We have a platform where we have a database of everyone who has applied, not just surveyors, who have applied at one time or the other to SURCON. where you can assess your details and see what you have, you know your status. You will be able to report any unethical practice. It is not just for surveyors. It is also for the public. We are going to publicize it. The public can relate with SURCON without having to make a call. On the platform, if you have somebody who is dealing with you, you know the name, you just go there, type in the name, you will see the person's registration number, you see his office address, you will know if he's a surveyor or not. Ditto for every other cadre on the council's register. And for those who want to report any unethical practice, you can be sure that when you have any report, within 48 hours, you will get a response. And you'll be told exactly what to do next. Now, why are we doing all of this? Like I said, the same goes for companies that are enlisted with SURCON. Why are we doing all of this? It is only a basis for where we are going. It will be possible for everyone who has applied for exams to see their results on the platform. It may not be open, it should not be open to the public, or part of it will be open to the public. But then the surveyor would know, or the person who had done exams would know what I have done. Any person who has applied to SURCON at any point in time would know his status. Now, we are looking at a better way of managing our cadastral practice. The issuance of beacon numbers. We're looking forward to a situation where issuance of beacon numbers can be done online. It will be a basis for such. Like I said, everyone will be captured and will have a sense of belonging. Personally, for me, I see myself as the surveyor that I want to see in 2034. And that is how I want every surveyor to see themselves. I want to see a profession where we will properly diversify and not concentrate on cadastral practice. Cadastral practice as we have now is what we have had since the year 2001. We should get it better. There should be a better way of ensuring that our practice improves. We should also be able to look into other fields and facets of surveying and ensure, like we all know, cadastral practice is more or less like the least where you can make it in surveying. We want to ensure that we open up the practice, get into every corner that surveying should be practiced, and ensure that practitioners are aware and they look into it, and the place is prepared for a good practice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Registrar. Please put your hands together for the registrar. This session is actually going to be interactive. After we've gone round one session of one set of questions, then we could react to your responses, and we could also ask for audience to ask or add to what you have said. On that note, I'll hand over to Folakemi to ask the next question.
Thank you, Arolambo. My question will go to Mrs. Sally Ekago, the representative of OSGOF. What we complain about, or one of the things we mostly complain about as surveyors, is the fact that when government award contracts, especially engineering contracts, it is often lumped, surveying is often lumped up with these contracts. And I know we've been talking about it for a long time, that we should get to the level where survey jobs are not lumped with engineering projects. Is there anything that OSGOF is doing at the moment to ensure that we get to that level? Has there been is there a difference now, or what are we exactly looking at the moment now, ma'am?
Thank you very much, moderator. The truth is, we do not read. Yeah. OSGOF, as an extra-ministerial agency, is tasked with roles that are both constitutional and statutory. And in the midst of those roles, we also are charged with formulating policies. And with regard to the question you have asked, there is a Federal Government Council resolution of the Federal Ministry of the then Ministry of Works and Housing to the effect that survey content of engineering projects be carried out only by surveyors. I believe I also wrote it in this thing recently. They also have in OSGOF stand there booklets that have those resolutions. I have also written it in the last week's magazine, WIS Gamma. Now, with regard to that, I know that, for instance, I'm in charge of infrastructure. We're charged with right-of-ways, and it is solely for the survey department. Right-of-way is not the prerogative of highways, right-of-way survey. In OSGOF, we're in charge of right-of-way survey. And come to think of it, if everybody would stick to their roles, we would be more effective. Now, SURCON does regulation. NIS is NGO. OSGOF does the policies. NIS, SURCON cannot do the propagation of these things. So NIS, that is a non-governmental organization, should be in a position to try to see that these policies are implemented. It's not for them to go looking for jobs or looking for things that are already in place, because there are Federal Government Council resolutions to that effect. It's not for them to say remove engineering survey content from engineering projects. It's for them now to, they can reach out to governors to say, this work, give it to, like allow the permanent, the surveyor general, because there are certain state surveyors general that really cannot stand before a governor. Yeah, that's the truth. And so you can help those ones to say, no, these things that you are giving out generally should be reserved for the surveyor. Because OSGOF does not have that problem. And then, by virtue of our enabling act, we are empowered to have offices in federal ministries. And so our representatives in federal ministries should carry out survey projects on our behalf. Maybe I should stop for now.
Yes, thank you very much, man. I actually been an insider. I'm a moderator this evening, but the fact that the office is functioning now, like the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, where all surveyors are pulled from the office. It happened about 2 government offices were to get surveyors, and the head of service actually declined that you can only get your surveyors from the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation. So I think if OSGOF is doing that, it's a pointer that we are moving in the direction we want to be. And if that could be replicated across states, we'll be getting to where we want to be in the next 10 years in terms of involvement of surveyors in all aspects of surveying of government contracts. So I think we can take that.
Yeah.
Okay, Ma, you want to add something, Ma?
Yeah, that even as
Yes, sir. Yes,
hold on. I would also like to suggest that NIS has no business in any federal government office to talk about surveying without involving the Surveyor General of the Federation. It only shows courtesy because the Surveyor General of the Federation is the government representative of surveyors in Nigeria. So it's not like you cannot go, but it wouldn't be proper to visit an office to discuss the subject of surveying without involving the Surveyor General of the Federation. I want to believe that there was a time a past president went to visit the minister, and the minister called the Surveyor General of the Federation. You are coming and you didn't tell me. And the Surveyor General was like, I'm not aware. Of course, the minister went out through the back door. He didn't see them until they rescheduled an interview because it's not proper. That's the truth. Let everybody stick to their roles, and in all that, let them collaborate. Because if you want to be a local champion, go alone. But if you work together, you go farther. Collaboration is very important. And I'm aware that our surveyors general in recent times have been collaborating with the SURCON and the NIS. They have not been working in silos. Let us continue with that collaboration. Don't let us rock the boat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so what she has said is very important. And I'm very glad, Ma, that you noted that recently there has been this collaboration. And that's very important. However, let me also say to us, these jobs, as OSGOF is doing their best to make sure that surveyors get what belongs to them rightfully, if we do not have the necessary infrastructure, we will still end up serving somebody there. Let me say, for example, if there is a project that Julius Berger is bidding for, and there is a survey component that is at that level, do we have the necessary outfit that can match Julius Berger and put them where they belong so that the surveyors will be champions in their own contribution? Is it possible that Julius Berger could require of some kind of data sets or other things that the way we are now as individual cadastral data providers, we will not be able to match, and eventually we go back to them and say, please help us? That is why, while we should uphold this collaboration and work together, I will come back to that, we should also do what we are aiming to do with MCPD, which is coming up in August and September this year. NIS has outlined dates.
Yes, sir.
I'm not announcing anything, don't worry. It's this. It's on this.
Yes, yes.
All right. So it's important that the MCPD this year is trying to set up, in fact, the target this year is setting up mega companies for mega projects. So that whether you're a university professor, you must be there. If you don't get there, you will lose MCPD points. This year, one of the major things we are dealing with is setting up mega companies, mega outfits for mega projects, so that when the engineering people come with their mega outfits, we also have something that can provide whatever they are looking for without feeling childish. I'll round up.
Thank you very much, sir. The mic will be given to the chairman, APPSN.
Chairman, APPSN, this is actually a two-in-one question that you have. And the first question we have here is that what is the APPSN going to do about the perennial issues between surveyors in private practice and surveyors in government? And the second one is that what strategies is the APPSN going to employ to ensure that we don't have one-man survey companies the way we normally work? What strategies is the APPSN doing to ensure that there is collaboration between surveyors? Surveyors are able to build bigger companies, work together, and thus attract bigger projects, sir.
Thank you so much, the moderators.
Mr. Chairman, sir, a moment. Sorry, everybody in the house, look at the next person to you. If the person is not interested in this session, tell the person it seems you are not interested so that they can leave us. We are still hearing the background noise, and what we are discussing is quite interesting, but some people are not interested. Please let them excuse us for now. I'm very sorry. Mr. Chairman, you can continue.
Thank you so much, the moderators, and I think this is a very good paradigm shift for having this kind of gathering and for these opportunities for us to prepare for the future. Our elders in the morning, they've done so well to give us a searchlight into the past. However, past, present, and future, they are like XYZ in the survey. So I will not dwell so much on preambles. Let me go straight to the two questions. The first one is the frictions between the private, come again, sir.
Surveyors in private practice and surveyors in government.
The surveyors in private practice and surveyors in government. Like in the morning, the past surveyor of your state said that he's having SURCON for 17 years. And the SURCON president is a member of NIS. And all the members of SURCON, they are all members of NIS. I think it's what we have to work upon, and it's a work for every one of us. Our surveyor generals, they are not from China or from maybe from North Korea. They are all members of the institution. And I think we all have we have to work on our ego. So at APPSN level, we keep on to be reaching out to them. And I think the subgroup that we have, there are some subgroups that the NIS management or the leadership is not looking into. APPSN is not only the subgroup. We have subgenerals group. They have their own body, they have their own meetings, they have their own WhatsApp group. So what the leadership under our own tenure is willing to do is to reach out to the leadership of subgroup of survey generals and let us see how we can walk the talk, because I don't think there is no linkage. When there is no linkage, there is no communication. So what we are going to employ is a good communication system with our survey generals at their leadership level, because I know that we have a group of retired survey generals and we have a group of survey generals in service. So this government of ours of APPSN, we work hard to link up with them, and if there's a good medium, like Alabo used to say, we keep on talking together, and I think we can summon our problems. It's all what we need is understanding. We should work on our egos, and we should know that as a survey general, you will still come out to practice. That is number one. Number two, the second question, sir.
Collaboration between private surveyors.
Collaboration with private surveyors is a very big problem. I started my practice 1993-94 with a partnership. And I think the company that made me what I am today, Zene Niger Group of Blessed Memory of Surveyor Wotiwon and Jordan and the rest of them. In the past, partnership is very easy when there are jobs. You cannot form partnership when there are no jobs. And that is why this government of our own APPSN is begging the leadership of NIS, SURCON, and OSGOF, and all the surveyor generals to see how we can define survey industry. When you don't define a system, there is no way you can manage the system. When you don't manage the system, you cannot benefit from the system. We thank God for cadastral survey. I wonder if there is no cadastral survey capacity we have built. I don't know what surveyors will be doing. I thank those people who, our elders, our forerunners, who has put in place this capacity building that we call MDS. It is a fantastic thing, but unfortunately, we have not been able to move to Module 2 of cadastral. So essentially, we cannot form partnership when there are no jobs. My own partnership failed when we stopped having contracts. When we had a 4 years running contract with Chevron, even with our inabilities, nobody can know. The second or fourth, when we finished the Chevron contract, we had similar contracts in Chevron. We didn't have any problem. We were buying cars and we were enjoying. But when contracts stopped coming, the world started cracking, and our wife started saying that, who is the leader? Where is the money coming from? This and that. So if we must build partnership, there must be jobs for people to sustain it. Because no car can move without a fuel. So the fuel for partnership is for the NIS, the SURCON, the surveyor generals should find a way to put in place a strategy whereby we can have jobs for our surveyors. I was in Ekiti State when we had our normal quarterly delegates meeting. And thank God, Ekiti leadership of APPSN and NIS, they were able to bring out the speaker, the surveyor general, and all other governmental officials. And I told them, look, our surveyor generals should have a way to bring out projects. It's not only to draw policies. You must generate jobs. Imagine in Delta State in the past, our surveyor general of blessed memory, Surveyor Kwogene, every Christmas, he give us surveyors two schools to survey. Am I telling lies? So, and he will bring it out at 2 million or 2.5 million that time. I'm talking of 1999. So, if you give me 2 schools to survey in Christmas time and I go with 4 million, am I not doing well? So, our surveyor generals in OSGOF, in wherever, we should find a way to patronize our surveyors. It will go a long way. Don't hide under there is no budget. There is no budget. I will employ SURCON and NIS to unbundle the contract system of our surveyor generals, both at federal and state levels. In the past, OSGOF used to invite us to come and witness their contracts when they want to open it, when they want to write it, and it's properly advertised in newspapers. No matter how small, contracts should be advertised, it should be opened up, and they should call NIS, our subgroups, call WIS, call APPSN, to come and witness integrity test of the contract. It will go a long way for people to form partnership. But if I form partnership now, I will use about 5 or 3 million to register with a NICOM, PTF, and the rest of them. After wasting that, I will call it waste. 2-3 years, I keep on spending 2 million to pay my tax, to get PENCOM, to get PTF, to get this and that, without getting contract. And when you want to push out the contract, you say I should go and pay 250,000 naira, non-refundable money, when the winner is known. So ethics should start from there. And I think SURCON have to work hard on that. I thank you all. Partnership will work when there are jobs for surveyors. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, APPSN Chairman. I knew that question will generate some, I don't want to say heat like that. Before I continue, I would like to introduce the representative of the National Association of Surveying and Geoinformatics lecturer. He has just joined us, and that is Surveyor Dr. Shaibu M. Ade. He is from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. Surveyor Dr. Shaibu M. Ade, FNIS. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Not because I want to retire as a lecturer, but I know because we all won't be here without our teachers. Another round of applause for him, please. Thank you, sir. God bless the teachers. I will just, Deputy National Coordinator YSN, please forgive me. I'll skip you and go to Wiz first, then I will come back to you. Yes, yeah, it's not gender. Yes, Mama Wiz, I have just one question for you here. And the question that I have is that, are you satisfied with the level of participation of women in NIS now? Are you satisfied? The level of women participation in NIS, involvement in surveying, are you satisfied with the level we are now?
Thank you, moderator. When we look at women in surveying and our participation with the NIS, I would like to say that the participation is not quite 100%. Why do I say so? We look at the leadership of the NIS now. It's like the women are not having that full acceptance and are not really giving the space that we required to be able to showcase our talents as the real image makers that we are for the NIS. Like when you look at the number of the ESCO that we have and the ratio of women in the ESCO, the ratio is too small. And so, for us to be able to participate fully as women, we must be given that opportunity, that consideration. Like now, what brought us women surveying? Women surveying saw that without this subgroup and the objective that has brought us out, this profession of surveying in the future to come may come to extinction. And that was the reason why women came together. And for every state, nationally now, you will see the work that women in surveying are doing. In fact, right now, we are the most image projector for NIS. Because everywhere we go, we publicize, we make awareness, we are making NIS to be known, the profession of surveying to be known everywhere. Nook and cranny, even in the far, far remote villages or towns, women in surveying are there. So I would like to say to this respectable gathering, come 2025, election will still come. We will still choose our leaders. When women comes out and we are coming out, give us that opportunity. Give us open arms so that we can come and perform. So that as we have been projecting the image of NIS, we will do more. And NIS will gain more when you give women the chance and the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the National Coordinator of WIS. Actually, the WIS National Coordinator said women are not that much in the ESCO. And the United Nations actually clamored for 35% affirmative action. So I want the whole house to first of all put their hands together for NIS for attaining 27%. 3/11. And all what we need is to add one more and we'll get that 35%. And to actually confirm what she has said, you will notice that last year it was just me on the stage. But this year, I've got the support of a woman and she's actually doing very fine. And in that note, I think she said she wants to add to what I'm saying.
And also, last year, the NIS had the opportunity of having the first female Secretary General of this institution, which was a first of its kind, and in the person of Savio Lady Angela Kesena Etuonobe. And I must confess, she has been exceptional. She has been. I won't say more than that.
Can you see? She had 50-50 and she's taking part of my... Let's put our hands together for our women in surveying. I know this question will be left for me because that's my constituent. The young surveyor coordinator. The question I have for you is that looking at the impact of young surveyors in today's surveying practice and NIS especially, and how young surveyors network started in Nigeria, then the journey towards the next 10 years. What do you think are the strategies that should be put in place to retain the talent in young surveyors beyond what we are seeing now? You make your comment if what we are doing now is okay, and what should we do to get better at what we are doing if what we are doing is okay. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, moderator. My name is Nathaniel Osai. Presently, I'm also a lecturer in University of Delta, Agbo. I'm also a lecturer in University of Delta, Agbo. And I want to come from the institution view. What I would like to say is that we need to properly train our young surveyors, especially in the aspect of instrumentation. In university, we lack most of the instruments that are supposed to develop the young surveyors while they are in school. We lack most of the instruments. For example, our practical sessions, some of the schools, most of our schools, we don't have the fundamental instruments that the students will use to train and become perfect in it before they come out in school. So we need to do something with our higher institutions, the monotechnics, the polytechnics, and the universities. We need to properly fund them with instruments, with lab, GIS lab, remote sensing lab, photogrammetry lab, so that when they come out, they can stage with other professionals either in the engineering fields or even in the industrial field. That's why you see that even the people we call quacks, the ones we train to be our feet cutters or feet men, because you know that what we used to work is just merely maybe just GPS. Let me say GPS because it's very, very paramount, very familiar now. GPS and tape. When they see the way you draw your GPS and use you use your handheld GPS and you draw tape. So this thing is very, very simple now, and they go and do it, not knowing that these instruments are merry instruments. They have errors. They have much errors, and they just start doing that. They don't know the fundamental of surveying, and because they see what you are doing as very simple, and they go into it, especially in the cadastral field. So that's why I'm coming back to our university, that we should equip our universities with equipment, with instruments. The totalization, the total light, even from the compass. They should learn how to use the compass. It's not just the polytechnic. They should learn how to use the compass. They should learn how to use the stereoscope. They should learn how to use some of these photogrammetric equipment. Then drone. How many of our schools can boast of drone? So we need these instruments so that when we come out, we are capable and we have that confidence that we can perform when we come out. That is one. Then two, there's need. Although YSN is doing that presently, YSN we retrain our members. We're in various platforms and we share knowledge. We share knowledge on how we carry out survey. We share knowledge on how we do other aspects of surveys like the GIS, the remote sensing, engineering survey, route survey, and so on and so forth. We share those knowledges. But there's need for us to do more of improvisation. That is to then, thirdly, the only system that is working for us now is cadastral. And that's our birthright. So we are seeing more students that are graduating every day, and the only system available for them is the cadastral survey. And even in the cadastral survey, we are now seeing middlemen between the graduate surveyors and the registered surveyors. So I'm appealing, because tomorrow we'll see over that there's quackery in cadastral. I'm talking about cadastral survey now. We say there's quackery in cadastral surveying, but the surveyors that are signing this quacks job, and most of these jobs are not done to accuracy and are not being monitored. So imagine there are some situations whereby you carry a survey plan. Okay, somebody like me that is into engineering survey, at times we go and set out building, go and set out some of all these structures. They will give you carry a cadastral plan that so-called surveyor have signed, and when you try to set out this bearing on ground, it's carried to Sokoto. Or when you try to establish a building here that is the plan, trying to set out what you have a plan, and that plan is in another belt. So these issues of quackery, we have to put an end to it. And the only advice I have is that we as a registered surveyor, we are appealing, young surveyors are appealing that we should stop signing quacks job. We should replace the quacks with the YSN. In our logbook, in all this our SURCON preparation, folio, and the rest, what do? We submit recognizers plan. Am I right? We submit our recognizer feed notes. We make back computation. So I still want to appeal for us to carry YSN along and put quacks where they belong. What we need to do is that, just give me just more time. What we need to do is that we should adopt these young surveyors, these young graduates, into our offices. We are paying them 70, 80, 100,000 in something. And when they go and do this job, we pay them for field work, for site work. Then even the scale of fee, as fee that is being accounted for those that went to sites, and the MDS. The one that is meant for them, should give it to them. And ensure that all these surveyors that are graduating, they are in our offices. We pay them, pay them for site work.
Thank you.
Then, the back computation, I'm appealing. If we can go back and be adopting our back computation survey, duly signed by YSN member and countersigned by the registered surveyor, to be part of our lodgement document. This will give them a sense of responsibility. And know that in tomorrow, this plan, when you see fit, you can still hold them back. So these are the few points.
Thank you, YSN Deputy National Coordinator. Please pass the mic down. You have mentioned, pass it down. I want to ask the lecturer in our midst a question. Not you, Surveyor Chukocha. The NASGIL, yes. Because you're also a lecturer, so it's not you. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shaib Ade. my question to you, some of it as the YSN Deputy National Coordinator has actually said one or two things. I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges that the surveyors in the academia, what challenges are they facing? And the other question, sir, is that are you experiencing a decline in manpower in your departments? If you are experiencing a decline, what do you think is responsible for that?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Although it's supposed to be time for Opalua, who is our chairman, but he has asked me to come and represent him. But meanwhile, the two questions you asked, number one, is what are the challenges that the academicians and surveyors are facing? Well, the challenges that academicians are facing may not be different from what our three presidents, past presidents, that talk about this morning. You see, the challenges were in their own time. Most of the surveyors then, they are reading engineering before converting to surveying. But recently, you find out that most of the people that are coming into surveying as lecturers and others, those that are practicing, they are really steady surveying. But actually, to be candid with all of us, the work of lecturers in this country as surveyors is only three: about teaching, research, and community service. And when you take that one, sorry, I'm a veteran as member. And to tell you, I'm a convener on human rights. So if I'm talking, maybe you hear the accent of ASU coming into this discussion. Actually, I don't think if this country is serious about surveying. I give you an example. I will just give you an example of Governor of Lagos, Jakande. When he was a governor in Lagos, he decided to build more schools targeting to reach the population of Yoruba children. He provided infrastructure and he employed. That means this is a practical solution to a problem. I think when we are discussing, Ayeni was discussing yesterday, Vajimi Rokun was discussing, everybody was happy. Ayeni had his education, not in Nigeria. He started in Nigeria, but he has full education, not in Nigeria. I'm telling you, the situation of lecturers in university is so pathetic. When I started school, we were only 5 in my class. Alim was my lecturer. He taught me. But go and see the situation now. You have, as surveying students, you have them in class more than 200. 100, 200. And you have instrument for them to teach. How many? The standard survey team is how many? Imagine, this country, we are not serious when you are talking about education. And that is the lamentation that ASU is all. Every time federal government, you had agreement with them. There is no any country that depends on the education of their citizens with their citizens alone. Before Ghanaians come to this country to teach us. But now we are going to have our degree in Cotonou in less than 6 months. Reasons, no infrastructure. I think there is not any lecture, most of you see FNI, 7I, no any lecturer will try it. Because he can't afford it. That's the truth. So sincerely, one of the key things that you look at the challenges of lecturers in this country is that there are no enabling infrastructure for teaching. Even our students, most of the students that are coming to our universities, you find out that their result is not authentic results because they have miracle centers. You see somebody with AIDS, you give him surveying, you see their result, they'll produce the worst results for you. That's one. Secondly, if you look at the standard of accreditation, whether NUC, whether SURCON, they will provide the instruments, but it will surprise you at the end of the accreditation. The instrument, they used to vanish. Yes, they do vanish. And it's so glaring. These are facts everywhere to find out. And one of the major things that will worry you again, you ask Professor Alim, how many times have you gone for international conference, go and share your ideas? Whether your students are doing research, you can go and share the research they are doing. Completely, you see our research, our replication of some of the things that they download from Professor Google. That's what our students are doing. They'll go to University of Lagos, take projects, wash it, give it in native view. Your NIS president would have testified to that. I think he's tired of supervising students' projects. And so the government of this country, naturally, they are our friend, Dr. Adijare, where Professor Alim is now doing his sabbatical. University. He has to resign to go to practice. And if care is not taken, if there is no deliberate attempt by NIS to see how to motivate lecturers, we will later find out that we don't have lecturers in the universities. So some of the challenges, if I am to count, is the entry students that are coming into the university, the grades they are presenting, actually some of them is not theirs. The enabling environment is not there. You have no classes, no lecture rooms, no labs that are equipped. How can you go and teach now? You say you are teaching students plan table. The last time I won a grant is to buy drone, but just the sensor. I could not go the money at that time. We have to enter affiliations with other bodies before they can buy those the sensors. So imagine, not any lecturer can go into private research because he doesn't have the money to do that. You can't even do it. So these are some of the challenges, and way to address these kind of challenges is a kind of all of us as stakeholders. The parents, the professional body, the government, and I'm telling you, the way we started in 1934, up to 1960, up to 1966, the way it goes like that is the same problem. When you look at during the early days of NIS, when you have the Governor General giving you lessons to regional directors of surveyors, which they changed to surveyor generals. The surveyor generals, they can't do anything. Instead, we train them. But you find out that our students are not feeding back. They don't give back to the institutions. And these are some of the challenges. Even the professional bodies, you are all professionals. If I ask now, what have you give back to your institution? And that's how people are developing. When you go out there, you give back. And that is the only way we can progress.
Thank you, sir.
So I think these are the few challenges.
Thank you.
The next question is on what?
No, I think you've answered it.
Right,
I asked if the number of your staff students was decreased, and I think you have mentioned that.
Please, but let me say something on that. Honestly, the way private surveyors are dressing and driving jeeps. Yes, I just have to open to you this case. I am telling you, you will continue to invite more lecturers to get out of university jobs.
Thank you, sir. I think we
I
get
think
it.
it's very clear.
It's very clear. Maybe I should start changing my mind. Thank you very much, sir. You spoke with so much passion, and I know that that's something that must touch your heart deeply. Now, I will just give you a follow-up question. Then after you follow up, Mrs. Sally Ekagbo wanted to respond to, yes, so after the follow-up questions to him, then the mic will come to you. And my follow-up question to you, sir, is what do you think the NIS can do about that? Because sometimes I don't like us to just say, of course, we know government, but can we walk around leaving the government out of it? What do you think the NIS can do?
Actually, there are many things NIS can do. Before, when you look at the training of surveyors, most especially those technicians and the technologies, before NIS is involved even in the examination. But I think this time around, it is left to SURCON. NIS must come back to this. They must find a way of coming back to like kind of working together with SURCON to still produce this kind of individuals. That's one. Secondly, there must be a deliberate fund specifically for research, and it has to be a very serious fund, not the way people are thinking. No, it has to be in, like, NIS needs to create a committee of veteran lecturers that will design a kind of fund for research and sending Nigerians to go and study abroad. If not, we will not be able to cover this gap. And we will also have to create a means of inviting people that are recognized globally. They travel all over to teach, that they should be visiting this country. And can you see the problem? Because if you take, how many dollars will you pay somebody who is a lecturer somewhere to come and teach? And we cannot be an island, Nigeria, to say that when US is calling people to come and teach, when UK is calling, when Singapore is calling, everybody, they are looking for resources from everywhere. And we are not looking. Then you see the danger. So NIS needs to have that kind of thinking, especially the BP, academics and professional matters. They need to coordinate that office so that that office will produce this kind of document that will be put into practice to, like, kind of mitigate this kind of problems in the academic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please, I want Mrs. Sally Ekagbo to respond to APPSN chairman.
Okay, the moderators. He spoke about not giving jobs under the pretext of no funds, no budget. I can speak as an insider that sometimes it's not a pretext.
Please use the mic, ma'am.
In the year 2020, I received a list of 23 federal highways that require rights of way survey. As we speak, I am on number 2. Underfunding, and they were about to carry the thing over again, the number 2, to 2025, and I'm like, no, I can't do the same work for 3 years. That's the only reason that number 2 will be able to go in 2024. And then as for collaboration, before the example I'm about to give, I have always preached about collaboration. It's better to join hands together and have big companies with big capital bases than to be the managing director of a kiosk. Now, if you may be quoting for the same job, you who own a kiosk will say, I want to give 50 million, and they'll be wondering, what does this one want to do with 50 million? For the same job, the one that has a bigger capital base is asking for maybe 300 million. Provided they can defend what they are doing, they'll give it to them. Rather than you with a kiosk looking for 50 million for the same job. So I have always advocated for collaboration, even among private practitioners. Now, in the year 2019 or 2020, the Federal Ministry of Finance gave out a survey to a foreign company. And what was their excuse? They said no local company had enough capital base. What do you say to that? So the work will not, you won't wait to get the job before you gather the money. You need to have the money in place, and then when they know you're capable of carrying out this job, you stand a chance of getting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. I just want to ask this now, and I want us to do it this way because we would like to take some questions from the audience. Now, we have the 3 legs of surveying here. We have all the subgroups of NIS here. Everybody is here. Sir, NIS, sir, Dr. Chukwocha, this is SURCON. What do you want most from SURCON at this moment? What do you want SURCON to do for you, NIS, in the next 10 years? Sir, ask SURCON.
Yes, I'm going to go to that question, but I think something that I want to bring up along our discussion lines from what have been raised from all over is that we went to school to do school. We came out of school and we can't think business. All of us here, the reason you need to be pushed to think make a company is because you are not thinking beyond what you learned in school to think business. I want you to know, if we have 100 jobs in this country, survey jobs, and we are 100 companies, equitably shared under every condition, the best you can get is 1 per company. Is that correct? But we are in Benin. We are in Benin. You have noticed that every time it drizzles, it floods. This is big survey business. The practitioners need to know that the researchers now know in Nigeria and have the capacity to predict and to delineate drainage routes. Can I ask you, if we keep talking and grow a system where every local government area in Nigeria is compelled to mark out natural primary drainage routes across this country so that before development comes, nobody constructs on the drainage routes, Benin will not flood. And the surveyors will have business. But can the surveyors and the practitioners, the researchers and the practitioners collaborate in such a way that they can get this done? So we need to start thinking business. See, I'm a pastor, or sometimes you can also say I'm a priest, but can I tell you, if we don't think business, schools will go down. The difference between Harvard and University of Nigeria and SURCON is business. So these are doing school. What is Harvard doing? They are supplying services to business enterprises in the research, and business enterprises are funding them to run what my brother is talking about. But we are looking at Tinubu to fund us so that we don't do research. I like you, my brother. You talked about recycling these things, and you keep recycling what people did somewhere, and it's not bringing business, because what you are doing is publishing newspapers and magazines, and there is no business. So we, as a whole, sir, they say, what do I want you to do for me? Please, sir, let's think business. SURCON should see itself, when you register surveyors, you know I told you this in Kaduna, registration of surveyors is the beginning of surveying business, it's not the end. But now in Nigeria, our mentality is, you are a registered surveyor, you have arrived. You have gone to the peak, you are not learning anything. The person who passed SURCON, forgive me, has not added any more knowledge since the last time he took that exam. This is 10 years after. What do you need to do for me, sir? We need to create business. SURCON should not just think registration. So we think business. Tell my APPSN chairman that we are talking business. And the lecturers are involved in business. Researchers are involved in business. APPSN is involved in business. If we grow business, we grow mega companies. But if we're waiting for OSGOF alone to go to government this thing and bring business and all the rest of, sir, we have passed that. This 2024. Let's create business. One young surveyor yesterday showed us a system that tracks vehicles. The young man showed us a system that tracks vehicles. Somebody came and asked him, what is my business with tracking vehicles and counting their number? What? If you tell vehicle registration offices that you can stay in your office and collect your revenue, you don't need people blocking our roads and causing problems. What that young man presented yesterday was mega. It is beyond revenue, it's beyond counting vehicles. It goes on to security. It goes on to everything. But it is coming from research. And when you convert it to business, some surveyors who are practitioners will stay in one place and tell their chairman, sir, the researcher should not gain from this. So, sir, it is not business. Let's think big money. Let's think big country. Let's think big profession. And we beg gates that everybody can chop. Thank you very much.
You can see NIS is doing well. Now, I want it to go to APPSN first.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, sir, APPSN. This is SURCON. This is NIS. Tell them what you need in the next 10 years.
The next 10 years,
Yes,
I think we have to change our mentality. Our mentality is what we first of all have to work upon. And I will not say only NIS and SURCON. Because at our end, as APPSN, we don't see any boundary. We are SURCON, we are NIS, we are OSGOF. Because one way or the other, we are NASGIL. Because one way or the other, you will go to school. When you finish from school, SURCON will give you something to do. If you find your way in private or public sector, one way or the other, you will still come to practice. So if you look at it, we are all one big family, recycling ourselves. So when we work on our mentality, we'll be able to connect very well. Because what we have now is, there is no connections. We don't have connections. Lecturers does not have fund. They don't have what it takes to teach students. SURCON does not have fund. NIS does not have fund. Everybody is complaining. OSGOF does not have fund. How can we change our mentality, as my pastor said, my venerable said? We have to think big. If you want to be a millionaire, you think like a millionaire. So what I will advise is that, one, we need private and public partnership. We just have to start thinking like when we were in Ekiti. I told the politicians that, look, tenement rates of 5,000 Ekiti may not be so rich like Warri. I pay 30,000 for my office as tenement rate. 30,000 and 1 million houses. Can you count the number? And I said in Ekiti, if they are paying 5,000 or 1,000 as tenement rates, and you give it to surveyors to help you to map it, and I'm begging you surveyors too, we always talk of precision, precision, precision. Precision is another problem we have. That's mentality. What accuracy, accuracy. What ordinary tape we do, don't go and take RTK to bid. What ordinary tape we do, don't go and take RTK. Somebody say, give me the topo of 50 by 100. You go and hire RTK. Somebody who wants to use level instrument, we charge maybe 150 or 200,000 naira. You will charge 500,000 because RTK. You will report him to ethics committees undercutting. Let us use our brain. Let us start using our brain. Mentality must change. And finally, we need consultancy services. We need consultancy services. There are a lot of our elders here who have pushed, they have put in so much in this profession. By the time somebody have put in 30, 50 years in a profession, we should be able to tap from the person. Like in the olden story, Panoshan gave out a job in Warri. And Awani, Sovia Awani of blessed memory, was giving consultancy services to draft the contract. He drafted the contract for Panoshan, and they give him the power to award the contract to surveyors. And he called some of us. Surveyor Rene must be my witness. see that kind of packaging. You know, if you have a contract, even in OSGOF, even in the Surveyor General's offices, if you have some contracts, please, there are some people who has worked in OSGOF who have retired. You can call them in, you know, to package contracts for you. If you give them 1% or 2% of the contract, it will go a long way, and it will bring more, you know, more value to the contract, and you have more value for your money. I think we can't talk forever. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. And with that word from the APPN chairman, I want to allow the SURCON registrar not to talk forever, but to quickly react in 1 minute, because our time is almost fast spent. Thank you very much. We have about 10 minutes left in this all, or less.
Thank you, moderator. I'll try to summarize all I have to say. I would like to say thank you to the NIS under the leadership of our president, Savio Ibitoye. The NIS is doing so much now in advocacy. That is what we need. But beyond that, we heard the APPSN chairman talk about us. If we have advocacy and we are not doing anything, then the advocacy will go nowhere. If the NIS president visits the Minister of Works, he lays on the table what he wants from the minister. And we have surveyors in the ministry who don't do anything, then nothing moves. If there is advocacy, we must follow up. So it still boils down to us. I heard the YSN chair talking about young surveyors. It is unfortunate that we have a lot of young surveyors who are not really ready to stay under the leadership of surveyors. It's unfortunate. No apologies to it, but it is what I know very well. If we have 100 persons apply for exams, I can tell you for free, 40% of them have not stayed under the tutelage of a surveyor. It is unfortunate. Yes, what you are going to get might be meager, but can you manage for that period of 2 years that you are going to learn? It is very important. What you are going to learn in the office, you will not learn it if you stay outside and only come once in a while to visit your supervisor. So the young ones also need to do. It still comes to us. We must see ourselves as the change agents that we want to see. We must see ourselves as the dream of the surveying we look forward to. And then we must not lose our identity. I said that to say this. We keep evolving. We started from land surveying to surveying and geoinformatics. We are moving to geoinformatics. We are moving to geomatics. Maybe later we'll move to another name. Why? I have seen, since I know professions exist, civil engineering has been, architecture has been. Does it mean they are not evolving into and adding some other things to what they do? They are. The man on the street knows surveyors. If you become a geomatician, can you go to the road and tell somebody, I'm a geomatician or geoinformatician? They will look at you with one corner of the eye and say, what exactly do you do? So we must be conscious of that. Let us not lose our identity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. On this note, Mr. President, sir, I actually want to confirm from the House. Are these the people that are leading our various subgroups? Yes. Please, in affirmation, do you actually trust them? And on that note, I want to say that I would have loved to ask for questions from all of you, but for the want of time, we trust them and we will continue talking. If we keep talking, we will never end it. On that note, please put your hands together for them. We have questions to ask, but we will not be able to take them. And the discussion never ends. Please, the president is on his feet, encouraging them, clapping for them. Please, let's join the president to do that. I know SURCON is going to know that one day we must let all engineering companies know that they must show us the number of surveyors in their employ. I know OSGOF will do it one day, that all ministry agencies and departments is going to have surveyors manning their offices, as I am presently manning one outside OSGOF. Keep clapping. I know one day the women in surveying will be more than men in surveying or equal. I know one day that the lecturers will drive the type of jeep they love to drive. I know one day the young surveyors will know that even if you have gone to school and you are practicing without license, you are a quack. It doesn't matter if you are looking haggard before you are a quack. The person that is practicing without license or being registered is a quack. So please, on that note, put your hands together in a thunderous way as I ask my panelists to return to their seat. God bless NIS. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let's take a good photograph. Mr. President, sir. Mr. President, sir. I invite you to join them in the group photograph.
Leonard.